Hey, beautiful souls. I hope all of you are doing amazing. Happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Today is the Lionsgate Portal, AA. Also, tomorrow is the full moon in Aquarius. There's a lot of energy happening. The Mercury retrograde ends on August 11th as well. So the energy that I have out here for you today, do take it as resonates, of course. It is about partnerships, about relationships. It doesn't have to just be a romantic one, but that is coming up in this. But this is more or less just the God's guidance of how you should pursue your relationships from here on out. Okay? We have harmony, number 10, and I feel like this is where your destination of where you want to go, where you want to reach is. Like, this is your end goal, the harmony. Being fully blissful, happy, joyous, peaceful, all the things they work out. If there's anything that's kind of like in the way, there's a way to like go about it and heal it, or interpret it into a better solution. Okay. Also got number 14, Nagas, which is lovers, erotica, and sensuality. Okay. But with this being the case, on the bottom of the deck, we got conditioning, number 15, which in the Osho Zen Tarot, this is the Devil's card, number 15. Then we got lovers. So lovers is significant, as well as inner voice on the bottom, and then playfulness and creativity as well. So like what I'm seeing here, there's been a lot of people that have been trying to tell you how to go about your relationships with your friends, your coworkers, your family members, your relationships that are partners, that are your spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends or fiancés or wives or husbands, whatever you want to call them. Lots of people just say spouse or just partner. But in general senses, there's conditions, there's limitations, there's obsessions, there's addictions, there's possessive energy as well with the conditioning card here. There's a lot of people that have projected things onto you that make you feel like you should be going in a certain direction, especially with the building of the bond of the relationships that you have. I'm going to tell you the one thing that's super important is like if you were to listen to the advice of somebody else and then actually interpret that advice into your relationship, I want you guys to know it's not authentic on your part to listen to someone else and then interpret that into the relationship, because what that other person would have done is what you just did because you listened to them, but that would have been the relationship that they would have been building with that person that you just did that with. So in all reality, it's not really like something you need to be asking for advice or opinions from other people, because it just ruins what really could be building perfectly, beautifully, uniquely on your own terms with a relationship and the quality of it. So this is what God wants you guys to know. He doesn't want you to keep asking other people for advice or help or anything like that. Yes, it's nice to have people support you, like, when you're talking, you're venting, and they're like listening to you and openly allowing you to be vulnerable, and they're not telling you that you should do this or you should do that. And they're not telling you that, because even, okay, so like if you were to suggest something out loud from your own authentic persona, say like you decide, I think I should do therapy, or maybe I should get us into therapy, or I've been thinking about this, and then on the other side, they're like, oh, I support you to do that, like that's actually something, maybe if you've been thinking about it and it makes sense to you, you should, because that's what you've been thinking about. So somebody supports your ideas, that's a whole different story. But when somebody tries to tell you that, no, you need to argue with them, or no, you need to go and tell them like this and that, blah, 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 that's what that person would say. So that really is going to ruin it for you and the relationship you're trying to build with the person. You see what I'm saying? So every relationship we have shouldn't be between anybody else besides the person and you and God in the middle. And that's how you'll develop a stronger bond with everybody in your life. Not to mention talking to other people about specific things and then getting advice. When you do throw you take that advice and you throw it into the relationship, the other person kind of gets a glimpse of somebody else. They don't see you, they see someone else. And that's not what you want. You want to be authentic in a relationship, right? Like, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to get mad. I'm not angry. I'm just going off what God is giving to me. And I want you guys to, like, maybe I'm a little stern about it because I want you to really interpret a new version of how you go about your relationships with people, your lover, all of the people in your life. Like, it doesn't matter if your grandma and your grandpa like had a relationship and it was so amazing, and like they did everything amazing, and then they could even give you advice, but it would still be their advice from their experience. It wouldn't be your experience because you took it from somebody else. So you need to learn to be able to make your own experiences with these relationships. That's what God has given us and provided us all these relationships for. If you are being authentic in your own way and you're just showing up as you're being vulnerable, you're being honest, you're being raw, and say that person doesn't like that, but you came in full form of yourself. That means that's God's protection of the rejection that you are feeling from that person, from your authenticity. That means that you are not meant to be with that person because they are not ready to handle all that you can offer or give. Does that make sense? That is what I'm getting in this whole God's guidance reading. Okay, so with that being the case, I will get some tarot to get a little bit deeper, but I don't think this is going to be much of a longer reading, which is probably good because I know it gets obsessive or excessive. I'm so sorry. Excessive when the reading becomes too long. So, all right, with the tarot, let's find out. Yeah, justice in the reverse. Exactly. All those conditions, the projections, those limitations have held somebody back from affirming full balance in relationships. Exactly what that is. Libra's energy too, by the way. Some of you guys could be born, because there's so many cards out here. You just need to listen to your inner voice when it comes to how you handle relationships and connections. You have number 15, number 6, number 2, number 10, number 14, and number 8. Okay. Could be August 14th, August 10th, August 6th, August 2nd, August 15th. It could be June 15th, June 2nd, June 10th, June 14th, June 8th, right? Any of these days could be significant. It could be life path number 2, 6, 8 as well. You guys could be born on just the 14th, the 10th, the 15th, the 6th, the 2nd, or the 8th day of the month specifically. All right, just take those as they resonate for you. Okay. So that just means there's an imbalance. And the reason why there's an imbalance is because the conditioning. Ace of Swords in the reverse. There's a need for a breakthrough to achieve that balance. Okay. And this is all air. And that's definitely representing the full moon in Aquarius that's happening tomorrow because of the Aquarius energy of the air signs. So actually tomorrow, full moon in Aquarius is going to be beneficial. I want you guys to also realize we were in Mercury retrograde, right? I just told you guys it will be ending soon. So that was this Mercury retrograde was absolutely crazy and off the charts. Like I have never experienced a Mercury retrograde this absolutely wild. Okay. But it was all meant for a reason. It all happened for a reason. Everybody had their tower moments. Everybody had their miscommunication. Everybody had their car troubles. Everybody had their, trying to go to the ATMs and withdraw money issues or put stuff in the bank, whatever. Everybody had their issues because that's what Mercury retrograde rules. Okay. Maybe even emails, lost texts, accidentally deleted, whatever it may be. But this is what this is all kind of coming to an end with. So with all the things that happened, besides it being kind of like a tower moment after tower moment, there's so much more confirmation that has been able to rise to the surface. So clarity is coming. Even though it feels like it hasn't yet come, it is coming. Okay? And I do feel like, there's just been a lot of... The reason why there's so much injustice is because there are a lot of people that wouldn't actually... Okay, so the advice they give you about how to go about a relationship isn't really how they go about it. It's what they would go about it because they are limited, because they've been projected onto, because they've been conditioned as well. Okay? And because of that, that would cause more imbalance. But that would mean that truly, from the bottom of their heart and what advice they're telling you to give, they're lying. It's not that they're maybe permanently trying to, or like personally trying to lie, but in all reality, it's really their ego talking for them. And so their ego isn't really real and it isn't truth. Okay, so that also comes into play when I see those together. All right, what does God think? God says the Empress in the reverse, the 3 of Wands, and then the Sun in the reverse. That would be Leo's energy, which we're in Leo season, Libra's energy again, and Aries. So there is something significant about Libra season and the full moon in Aries, which will be the next full moon. No, just kidding. The second next full moon. So next full moon is the Pisces full moon, and then the the Aries full moon will happen in October. So there's a big time frame here for you guys that kind of just made a huge stretch from this full moon in Aquarius all the way up to the full moon in Aries. So 2 full moons, so 2 months, okay, of different things. You guys have been stressed out to the max, and this is the time to release and relieve yourself of this stress. And that's exactly what that conditioning has happened to make more prevalent in your life is anxiety, worry, concern, not knowing, unsure, uncertain, those types of things. And then the 3 of Wands means that there's a ship on the horizon. It is coming in, but during the time of it coming in, it's not totally ready to come in. You're not totally ready to enter onto the ship yet. The sun being in the reversal means that there's certain things you need to deal with. When you see both of these cards, the Empress and the Sun in the reverse, this is stressed out because of depression, because of feeling left out, because of maybe even feeling isolated, maybe even feeling like you're missing out on specific things. But during the time of waiting, we all have to stay productive and stay occupied, right? Occupado. So I feel like you guys, maybe even life path number 3 or 1 could be significant too here, because I have those numbers coming out here as well with the Ace of Swords, and then the double 3s here with the 3 Empress and the 3 of Wands. There's no number. Now the Sun is also number 19. That could be significant for August 19th in the sense we're in Leo season. August 19th will be like the next energy here when it comes down to the Sun. I do feel like, yeah, you guys are really, you're going to be building. You're going to be getting your ducks in a row. You just have to figure out, and it's about connecting to God here, the Hierophant. It's about connecting to God. It's about really elaborating, communicating all your issues vulnerably to the man upstairs. The 3 of Pentacles is even here. There is things that you could be accessing with knowledge and experiences and the things that you already gone through here, but the release of projections and the removal of conditionings, this will actually set you into some kind of like teamwork situation, and people can learn a lot from you. Some may even be conflicting with you, like they'll try to be egotistical and say like you don't know what you're talking about, maybe even trying to argue your point, you know what I mean? But like you're gonna be so sure of yourself at this point when this happens that there's nobody that could ever steer you off the road that you're on. The High Priestess is even on the bottom of the deck, which means that your knowledge is equipped perfectly. So this person that would try to conflict with you brought a knife to a gunfight. You know what I'm saying? You got the gun, it's cocked and loaded, and I'm not trying to be all like violent or anything, but that's kind of the feeling. Like they brought a knife to a gunfight because you already equipped with all the knowledge you need. You already know, and you're already sure of yourself. You're confident in who you are. This is all what's happening here within the future. Even in your relationship, somebody could be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. And you're going to be like, nope, that's a knife to a gunfight. And you are not going to try to defer me from being authentic in my own way. This is how I want to handle it. This is how I'm going to handle it. Like, that's what I'm getting. And even the Queen of Wands is on the bottom of the deck with the Wheel of Fortune. Things are really going to start really spinning in your favor. The Emperor in the reverse means that the masculine energy. So like if you're feminine, your masculine has been doing a lot of healing. 2 of Cups is even here. The Lovers is even here. That's crazy because you guys got the Lovers and 3 different decks. Okay? So obviously, this is about relationships and connections and the things that matter the most to you. And the Emperor, even with all the things you're healing, is reflecting into the masculine. If you're the masculine, your energy of your person, your feminine, has been doing all this healing and all this work and all this figuring things out to the point where it's actually initiating certain healing within yourself. If you are the masculine watching this right now. But there are so many things that are happening for you. Good luck. I feel like the connection is going to strengthen even more. But I also feel like there's traveling. Some of you could be traveling south. Some of you could even be having more dates. Cheersing champagne, wine, maybe some beers, whatever it may be. But there's something here about total celebration and happiness and basically your destination to harmony. And it's happening. You just need to stay hopeful with the star reading the reversal. You need to stay hopeful and don't let that anything try to defer you from what you envision for your future. Okay? I hope this helped in any way it could. You guys are amazing. Have a beautiful rest of your